What's going on, guys? Dwayne here with my investment journey, and I am back again. In this video, I wanted to talk to you guys and show you my stock portfolio, which currently is down $87,000. That's right, my $260,000 stock portfolio is currently down $87,000. So this is actually a live stream. So if you're watching this live, feel free to smash the thumbs up in this video. And if you have questions, you can ask in the live chat. All right, I'm going to cut straight to the chase. I'm going to jump right into it and show you guys my portfolio. But if you're new to the channel, once again, my name is Dwayne with My Investment Journey. And on this channel, I talk about how to start investing in the stock market, and I show you my investment journey. So be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys my screen here. I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to go look directly into my stock portfolio right now. This is going to be live, so let me share my screen. Okay, so you guys are looking at my screen here, and as you can see, this is live at the making of this particular video. It's currently 4:37 p.m. Central Time in Houston. You can see the date at the top right of my computer screen. You'll see 4:37. Of course, when the time changes, you'll see the time change as well. So this is actually live, and this is where my portfolio stands right now. So it's currently $176,955.87. Let me show you guys, for the people that want to see that I'm actually down $87,000. I'm going to go ahead and click on all. And as you can see here, this is my investment journey on Robinhood. If I show you guys right here, basically in May of 2020, I started to reinvest in the stock market. And since May of 2020, I've invested $260,000. Okay. Of course, you see underneath the $260,000, you see negative $4,399. And this is back in 2016 and 2017 when I started to invest way back over here, and I lost almost $4,400. And I stopped investing. I took all my money out. So that's kind of why you see the negative $4,399 underneath the $260,000. So the $87,000 that you now see, it is adding the $4,399 from 2016, 2017. Okay. So as you can see right now, all time on Robinhood, I'm down 33%, which for me is $87,000. Now, of course, you can see in the last year, my portfolio is down in the last year $103,000. Obviously, that doesn't feel good, but I'm trying to be as transparent as possible because, of course, depending on what you decide to invest in the stock market, your situation can be different. Hopefully, it'll be different in a good way. Okay, so if I show you guys kind of what's happened in my portfolio from when I started to invest back in May of 2020, you can see my portfolio's been all over the place, right? I was up here, 18,000. Of course, I was down here, negative $63,000, which I thought was a big deal, and it was a big deal. And then, of course, here you can see that I was up $43,000 in March of 2022. And then at my lowest, you can see here, my lowest is December the 26th of 2022. I was down $126,000. Now, believe it or not, I haven't done anything drastic. I haven't sold like my positions or anything like that. What happened when I started to invest in the stock market is I started and, I was very much like, oh, I can be a day trader. I got this. Okay. I can easily buy low and sell high. Once again, guys, this is a live stream, so if you have any questions or comments, you can slap them into the live chat, and I'll try my best to answer it. Not a guru, just an average person showing and sharing my journey in regards to the stock market. All right, I see we have 6 people watching the live stream right now. Be sure to smash the thumbs up in this video. It helps the channel tremendously. So I started in 2020, and I was like, yo, I'm going to day trade because I'm smart. I got this. A lot of people can be overconfident, and I was definitely one of those people. And so I started and I tried to day trade. And of course, when you start to invest your money in the stock market, there's definitely a learning curve. What I would suggest is if you're interested in investing in the stock market, I would advise you to watch a bunch of videos on YouTube because it's a free resource, and Kind of, if you want to be on the safe side, you can kind of diversify your investment by investing in ETFs. An ETF is a collection of companies, as opposed to if I took my money and just only invested with Apple, or I took my money and only invested with Walmart, or I took my money and only invested with Microsoft or Google. You get the point, right? So instead of buying single stocks, which nothing is wrong with that, you can purchase an ETF, which is a collection of stocks. As a matter of fact, I'll show you guys an example of ETFs that I currently have right now. So I'm going to go back to my portfolio here. I'm going to share my screen. So we're back in my portfolio. You guys can see here. I'm going to click on today. So once again, this is live. As you can see, the timestamp here is currently 4:41. Even though it's 4:42 right now, but whatever. So this is live. Portfolio is currently down $87. Okay, so today's journey in regards to my portfolio, you can kind of see for me, the market opens at 8:30 a.m. officially here in Houston, and at that particular time, my portfolio was down $3,398, and then of course it went down even further at 9:40 a.m. where it was down $8,000, and then it came back up. Okay, so I want to show you guys an example of an ETF so you can have an idea of exactly what I mean. So I'm going to open up VGT, which is Vanguard Technology ETF. So I'll open that real quick. Thank you for smashing a thumbs up, whoever that was. I appreciate you. Be sure to smash the thumbs up. It's an easy and free way to support this particular video and live stream. Okay, so right here, you can see this is an ETF. It says Vanguard Information Technology ETF. Okay, so of course you can see right now it's trading for $344.76, and my average cost per share is $409.42. My total return right now, I'm down 15%, which is negative $4,947. And so let me show you guys here. It says number of holdings. You can see it right here. There's 371 different companies in this particular information technology ETF that Vanguard provides. Okay, so if you believe in investing in technology companies, this would be a decent one to get into. But also, it shows you the breakdown of the ETF. It has technology over here is 87%. Then, of course, there's financial services, 7%, and so on and so forth. You can see that. And then it tells you the top 10 holdings. Okay, so the top 10 holdings are the top 10 companies. So as you can see here, most of these companies, the average person is going to know. You have Apple, which has the biggest chunk. And they're telling you that Apple, there's 20% that goes towards Apple. So if you had $100, $20.40 would go towards Apple, $18.09 would go towards Microsoft, $3.87 would go towards Nvidia. Then you have Visa, MasterCard, Broadcom, Cisco Systems, Accenture, Adobe, and Texas Instruments. Okay, so most of those companies, the average person is going to know living in the United States. So this is what I mean when I say ETF, right? It has built-in diversification. You are splitting your money 371 ways. So when you take your $100, it's being split across 371 companies. So that's a little bit better in a way. There's more safety, I guess, in that. That's one type of ETF, right? So that's a technology ETF. You can invest in a technology ETF. You can invest in a real estate trust ETF. There's different kinds of categories or things that particular ETF is based on. Of course, you can invest in the entire stock market. There's a lot of ETFs out there. So if you're just starting brand new in regards to the stock market, that's probably one of the safer things that you could do. Of course, you can always choose to invest in companies that you know as well. For example, Walmart, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta or Facebook, Procter & Gamble, 3M, you know what I mean? Those companies, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, right? A lot of those companies will probably not go anywhere in our lifetime. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, I say our lifetime. I'm 44. Of course, there's different age groups that will be watching this video, but you get the drift. A lot of those companies aren't going anywhere. So if you chose to invest in individual stocks, you can invest in companies you know. One of the things that I did getting started was I was chasing the money. So I was investing in like penny stocks, and penny stocks are, stocks that are trading for a couple of cents up to a couple of dollars, right? And so, of course, they don't have the history, and of course, most of them are insanely volatile. I did a whole bunch of different types of things in the beginning. I was kind of gambling, to be honest with you. And so even now, my portfolio is down currently $87,000, and a lot of my investment is with Apple and Tesla. Like, those are the biggest holdings in my portfolio. A lot of people, they see the amount of money that I'm investing, and then they're like, yo, how come your dividend payments aren't more? And it's like, well, Apple does pay dividend, but it's not like they're paying a huge chunk in regards to dividends. So, of course, everybody's a professional. Everybody has an opinion. I love reading the comments in some of the videos, and people are like, yo, you should do this with your money. And I'm like, okay, well, you should have a YouTube channel and tell people what to do. Because I don't ever really pretend to tell people what to do. Of course, I'm sharing my experience. And at the end of the day, your money is your money. You've worked for it, and you should choose wisely if you choose to invest. One of the things that I think is interesting is the fact that people invest in the stock market, right? Or for example, you have your 401k, and a lot of people don't know that their 401k is basically, investing in the stock market. Now, you talk to them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I pay into the 401k." But no, I'm not going. No, I would never invest in the stock market. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll never take my money. Like, I don't understand how it works. Blah blah blah. And they never like invest directly. And so I understand that. But it's definitely interesting, to say the least. Give me 1 second here. Let me see. Yikes. If you're just joining, this is a live stream, by the way. So feel free to ask a question in the comment section. I definitely will try my best to answer. And thumbs up this video. So far we got my boy Sin and Madness in the house. He says Dwayne is back again. Yes, sir. And he says, man, it's been a while since a live on here. I'm tuned in, but I'm at work. Yeah, no worries, man. I'm at work too. And speaking of work, today was definitely slow driving Uber. I drive Uber a lot because it gives me freedom to kind of do what I want to do, and I kind of have a open schedule. But as great as that is, I still got to like be dedicated. I'll be driving Uber, and like if I sit around for like 2 minutes, I'm like, yo, Uber's slow today, and I'll stop driving. So it's a catch-22. What do you do? Daryl, what's going on, my man? Thanks for stopping by. Daryl says, this is motivation. Thanks, bro. I'm just on here sharing my journey. The good news is everybody benefits. When I make videos and share what's going on in my portfolio, of course, I make a couple of pennies on YouTube, which is always good, because any money that you can make is always better than no money by doing nothing. So it's a win for both of us. I'm sharing my experience, and, if somebody can benefit in a positive way, then once again, it's a win. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you stopping by, Daryl. Cinemadness says, I might be able to be out of work before the live ends. I leave in 45 minutes. Well, I don't know if I'll be here, but if I am, that'll be a great thing. As far as the moderator situation is concerned, give me a second here. I gotta jump on the screen and watch the live stream. Because like when I'm streaming right now, I'm not actually on YouTube, right? Like, I'm streaming in an app, and so I don't get to see exactly what's going on in the live stream. What are you talking about, bro? He says, I remember. Okay, I got you. Yeah, okay, you are a moderator already. I was double checking because I kind of had seen the comment, but hadn't really digest exactly what you were saying. Okay, so Sharif, what's going on, man? Thanks for stopping by. He says, appreciate the transparency. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thanks for just typing that up. I know that there are a lot of people that end up watching these videos, but they're too shy to ask any questions. So I appreciate you dropping that positivity in this chat. Sharif says, how do you feel about ARMA Residential holdings for the long term? That's a great question. One of the things that's super interesting about the stock market is the fact that there's so many different kind of ways to make money. And I'll show you guys what I'm talking about, Sharif. So let me open up my portfolio here. Well, let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. Where are we at? Yikes. I got to go back to here. Then I got to click on, where is it at? Give me a second. I want to share my screen here. Okay, so now I'm sharing my screen. So Sharif is asking about Alma Residential. Okay, no, that's definitely not what I meant to do. I meant to click on, yikes, give me a second. Give me a second. Oh man. Okay, let me get out of that. I meant to click on this, and then I meant to click on that. Okay, so in regards to Alma Residential, it becomes a tricky situation because there's so many ways to make money in the stock market. Okay, so let me open up the tab on Alma Residential REIT, and I've been definitely thinking about this. You know, I make moves in my portfolio, and I don't always make a video talking about it. Right here, you can see underneath this graph, you can see my buying power is $128,000. Now, the reason why it's $128,000 is because I have margin investing enabled on Robinhood. So I don't actually have $128,000 just sitting in my account. It would be nice, but I don't. And it would be hard to have that money sitting there because, of course, you always want to buy something, or at least I do. Okay, so you can see I have $128,000 of buying power. So with Alma Residential REIT, my average cost right now is $10.40. And of course, I'm down 42%, which is negative $5,000. Now, with that money that I have available in margin investing, I could take, let's say, $8,000, because right now you see my market value is less than $8,000. I could take $8,000, right? And then I could come here and purchase some shares because, of course, the dividend yield right now is 19%. So when I borrow, if I borrowed $8,000 from Robinhood, it's 7% right now to use margin investing. So for easy math, let's say I borrowed $10,000 and 7% of $10,000 is going to end up being $700. So that's going to be $700 divided by 12 months. So you would pay $58 each month to borrow $10,000 from Robinhood. So I was thinking I could take that money, okay, purchase some more shares, bring my average cost down even lower, and because the dividend payment is 19%, it would be taking care of the 7% that I would pay Robinhood because, of course, Alma Residential pays dividends and they pay dividends monthly. So in a way, I could, and this is something I've been thinking about, which obviously makes all the sense in the world to me. In a way, I could bring my average cost even lower, closer to what it's trading for right now, okay, by using the margin investing. If it goes up a couple of cents, I could sell those shares back, and I brought my average cost down. Or if I don't sell the shares back, technically I could be profiting from using the margin investing from the dividend payment that I'm getting from Alma Residential REIT. So it's a hairy situation. That's one of the things that I think is super interesting about the stock market, is because there's a lot of different ways to make money. Now, of course, everybody's always concerned with like dividend cuts. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody knows what the hell is going on in regards to the stock market. You know what I'm saying? Like, the only people that know are the people that have all the money anyway. You know what I mean? Like, for example, when people know that the feds are going to increase interest rates, and then it's like, okay, well, when they do that, and they announce it, you know, normally the stock market goes down, right? So like, it's interesting. People talk about insider trading, and like literally all the people that have the money anyway are the people with the information, or kind of get wind of the information first, and they may sell some, and then, you know, the stock market drops, and then they come back and buy some. Now, I'm not that lucky to be in that crowd or to even be that much in the know. When it comes to dividend payments, it's not like we know for sure, oh, there's going to be a dividend cut. And if there's a cut, and you're still getting at least something in regards to dividend payments. I feel like eventually the payment's going to get back to where it was, right? For example, Apple cut their dividend payments, right? Now it's like 23 cents per share. Of course, before Corona, it was like 80 something cents per share, right? Now it's 23 cents. AT&T cut their dividends as well, right? So, and AT&T had been giving consistent dividend payments for a long time, a lot of years. Okay, so when it comes to that type of stuff, I don't really freak out too much, because if you're investing in an account because of the dividend payments, obviously there's going to come a day that you're going to, instead of reinvesting that money, you're going to, be using that money for your living. So like right now, if I was using my dividend payments to pay my bills or live my life, all I care about is I'm able to use it. But because I'm so young, 44, I'm thinking long term, the next 20 years from now, if I keep reinvesting these dividend payments, my dividend payment is going to continue to grow. So as far as I'm concerned, you can do all the reading and research you want. It's like, how do we know a company's going to file bankruptcy? I mean, you can have a hunch, right? And that's like really it. You can research till you're blue in the face. The reality is you don't really know. And knowing my luck, my experience is I buy something and the stock price goes down. It's just normal. It happens to me all the time. Like it's silly. Okay. Even back in 2016, 2017, the stocks that I bought, and I was kind of tipping my toe in the water. If I had just sat still, I would have been good, but it's hard to do that when you watch your hard-earned money go down. So a lot of people tell you, don't invest any money that you're not willing to lose. It's like, all right, well, I mean, like, okay, like it's so easy to say that, but obviously you're investing because you want to make money. You're not investing, saying, well, I can stand to lose 100 G's. No, you can't. I mean, unless you can, and that's not me. I'm not there yet. Once again, this is a live stream, so we have 5 viewers watching right now live. Smash the thumbs up in this video if you haven't already, and more importantly, if you have any questions, slap them into the live chat. I'll do my best to answer. All right. Okay. So Marcus says, what's the best dividend stocks to invest into? It depends on what you consider the best dividend stocks. Of course, REITs are some of the higher paying dividend stocks, which a lot of people will say that they're more risky. So of course you have those types. Of course you can invest in banks as well. Banks are pretty decent. JP Morgan is pretty decent. I have Huntington Bank. I have Northwest Bank. I just bought 1 share of that, but they're pretty decent. Of course you can also invest in like energy companies. It just depends on what you consider to be the best. If you want something slow and steady, you can invest in Procter and Gamble. You can invest in 3M. You can invest in AT&T. You can invest in Verizon. You can invest in Altria. I mean, there's so many companies. What you could do is you could research on Google dividend kings and dividend aristocrats. These are companies that have consistently made dividend payments for X amount of years. I don't remember which one of them is 50 years of consistent dividend payments and increasing their dividend every single year, right? So you have dividend kings and dividend aristocrats. You can Google and see what those companies are, and if that makes you feel more secure in regards to investing with them because they've paid dividends for the last 15 years consecutively or the last 50 years consecutively, you can use that to kind of make you feel a little safer, but of course there is no guarantee. I mean, a company that's paid dividends and increased their dividend payment or their per share, they could easily slash their dividends. They can cut their dividends. So like it's like they have 50 years of consistently increasing, and people want to get hype and excited about that type of thing. But the reality is, of course, they can cut their dividend payments. Let's see. Mocha Lady, I hope I said that right. Please forgive me. Says, hey, I wanted to ask, ARR is still, if you still have this position. I started my position this month and see how it plays out for the rest of the year. Yeah, I do have a position with ARR, and I'm pretty sure hopefully you were in the chat when I kind of showed that. But if you were not, let me just show you real quickly. Again, I do have a position with ARR, and it's right here. So ARR, right now you can see that my value is $7,937. My average cost per share is $10.40. So it's trading right now for $6.03. My total return, I'm down 42%, which is negative 5,747 bucks. Okay, so I do have a position with this still, and I talked a little bit about, I could possibly use some of my margin investing money that's in my account. See, my total buying power here is $128,000, but that's because I have margin investing enabled on Robinhood. And margin investing, basically, how it works is depending on how much money you have in your stock portfolio, and depending on the stocks in which you're invested, as far as like if they're high risk or not, the brokerage will front you or allow you to borrow some money. And so, of course, they'll allow you to borrow money, but they're going to charge you interest. So, of course, if you borrow with Robinhood, I think right now it's still 7%. When I enabled margin investing, it was 2.5%. Okay, so I was like, that's sweet. That means, for easy math, let's say it was 2%. So that means for $100,000, I am only going to pay $2,000. So $2,000 divided by 12 would be my payment every single month. So let's do 2,000 divided by 12. That would be $166 in order to borrow $100,000 from Robinhood at the time. Now, $100,000, 7%, that's now $7,000, and $7,000 divided by 12 is $583 that you would pay interest every single month back to Robinhood. So with margin investing, you can borrow the money, you can make a profit, and sell some shares. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to give you guys a real live example here. This is a live stream. If you have questions, slap them in the comment section, all right? Or slap them into the live chat. And if you haven't smashed the thumbs up, smash that thumbs up. All right, I'm going to show you guys. I used margin investing a couple of times to buy shares with Apple and sell those same shares. So I'm going to open up my position with Apple here. Let me scroll down to Apple. Give me a second here. Here we go. Apple. Let me open a separate tab. Here we go. Separate tab coming up. And we got Apple right now. And I wanted today to buy some more shares with Apple, but I didn't. Margin investing can work very well, especially when your average cost is higher. So you guys can see Apple is trading right now for $141.66. My average cost is $144.29. Okay, so you can see it says my market value is $183,000, which a lot of that includes margin investing. Okay, this is not reflected in my overall balance. So like right now, my portfolio is valued at $177,000, but if you look here on Apple, my market value is $183,000. So once again, that's because I'm using margin investing. So what I did, because my average share is $144 right now, what I did was I used margin investing to grab some shares. I'm going to scroll down and show you guys. Okay, so we'll click on show more. Okay, so we're in here right now. So the most recent one, you can see right here, $40,000. At the time, I bought $40,000 worth of shares, which allowed me to get, on December the 16th, it allowed me to get 291 shares, and at the time, it was $136.52. So I borrowed $40,000 on December the 16th from Robinhood, okay? And then on January the 23rd, a couple of days ago, I sold. So it says Apple sell. You see the Apple sell here? And what I ended up doing was I ended up just selling $40,000 worth of share. So as you can see, I sold right here 281 shares, and at the time it was $142.32. Now notice that I sold 281 shares versus here I bought 292 shares. Okay, the same $40,000, but because it was trading higher, right? 136 here and up here 142. So for easy math, let's just say it was 137 and 142. So that is a $5 difference. Okay, that's a $5 difference, and let's say that I sold 281 shares times $5. That's $1,400. Okay, that's $1,400. Let's say that I borrowed $40,000 on December the 16th. You can see here, and let's say I only used it for a month. Okay, let's say I only used it for a month. So $40,000 from Robinhood times 0.7 is $28,800. That's how much I would pay for the year. I'm going to divide that by 12. That's $233. Okay, so if I had borrowed the money for exactly 1 month, that would be me borrowing $233. And the thing is, I made $1,405. For easy math, let's say I paid Robinhood $400. So let's say I profited a clean $1,000 for using margin investing. So I did that, and that was pretty good. And I actually did the same thing again. I'll show you guys my screen again. So I did the same thing again, and this time was a lot quicker. Okay, so you can see right here on November the 29th, right, 2002, you can see I bought $40,000 worth of shares. Once again, this is using margin investing. At that time, I bought 284 shares, right? You can see that there, 284 shares, and it was $140.79, okay? $40,000, right? So that's November the 29th. Right above it, you see November the 30th. I sold, and at the time, I just sold back the same $40,000 worth, which is not the same amount of shares. So as you can see, I sold, and at that particular time, it was $144.14. So we got $144.14 versus $140.79. So I profited there as well. Okay, so it's pretty incredible, because the thing is, the people that have like real money, the more money you have, the more the brokerage will allow you to borrow, especially depending on the stocks you're buying. If the stocks you're buying are pretty, low risk stocks, and I'm going to say Apple is, right? So because I have so many shares of Apple, it doesn't seem as risky for the company to let me borrow or front me that type of money. Okay, so that's once again another way you can make money in the stock market. The crazy thing is, people are doing this on a way bigger scale. You know what I mean? Like, people are, instead of borrowing $40,000, they're borrowing $100,000. They're borrowing $400,000. You know what I mean? Like, the bigger their portfolio, the more that they can borrow, and the more that they can kind of, take chances. When you watch the stock market a lot, for example, with Apple, and Apple will go down like $3-4. There's not going to be a lot of consecutive days where that will occur. Okay, if Apple goes down $4 or $6, just the same, if it goes up $6, it's not just going to continue going up the next day and then the next day and the next day, right? Like, it's going to go up, and then it may come down a little bit the next day, and it may even go down further from that. So the more you watch the stock market, the more you kind of understand certain things in regards to the stock market. You may experience the stock market or one particular company going up 2, 3 days, 4 days in a row, like a little bit, right? And then you may experience the same thing in the opposite direction. And if that occurs, it's not like it's just going to continue going down for days. It's not going to be 5 days of consistently going down. That's just not how the stock market works. So, people that kind of have a lot of money, and the more you pay attention, not to the stock market as a whole, but even just to one company, the more you watch one company, the more you understand. And of course, when your money is invested, you're going to pay more attention than if your money is not invested. Okay, here, let me jump back into the Chizat. We got Bill in the house. It says, I wouldn't do REITs in a taxable portfolio. Listen, I hear you. That stuff doesn't necessarily scare me. It's not like I really understand what goes on in regards to my taxes anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, right now, my portfolio is down $87,000, right? So it's not like my portfolio is up $87,000. So I really don't even worry about that. Like, I hear people talk a lot about that type of stuff, but I don't like, I just don't worry about it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where I guess I'm going to learn as I go type of thing. Cinnamon says, I've always thought was interesting is most people's only stock market investment is their 401k, and I prefer taxable because of the buy, borrow, die. With a 401k, you're forced to sell at 65. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting. I mean, it's just one of those things, like, you know, there's too much information out there. I mean, and people excel at different things. It's not like I'm all knowing, and it's not like we can all be all knowing about everything. That's not how it works. It's like, you know, like music, for example. I mean, music is huge. There's so much great music out there. It's not like you can say, oh, I've been exposed to all of the great music out there, you know, or all of the great music from this decade, right? Because like, it's like, come on, there's so many different genres of music. Like, so I don't even waste my energy worrying about the things that I don't know. Of course, you know, you are able to learn things that you're exposed to over time, you know, especially if you pay attention to them as well. Sharif says, I own about 100.3 shares at 577 average. I appreciate your information, brother. I sub and watch every video. Thank you, Sharif. I appreciate that, man. And I'm loving that average cost per share for you. 577, man, that looks good on you. And that's the thing about the stock market, right? Like, we have so many people out here, they'll tell you, oh, it's a buy. Like, I would buy now. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? They said that when the price might be up compared to what it is now, right? And so that's why I'm never like, I never tell people like, yo, you got to grab some of these right now. No, you don't. I mean, you do, but you don't, because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or the next year for that matter. So I don't want people to, you know, run out and grab a whole bunch of shares because I said, oh, you got to get in there. Let's see. Cinnamon says, all about that generational wealth. 401ks are kind of meant for one person or generation. Just a Tiger Thing says, you scared me one time. One time you posted a video during the bear market in 2022 where you said you started using margin and then stopped posting videos for months. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely, you know, YouTube is interesting. The thing about YouTube is, for me, it's kind of hit or miss. And so people are making these videos, well, especially for me, it's coming out of a place of passion. It's coming out of something that I'm interested in, okay? Because it's not like everybody on YouTube, you know, are going to have the same experience. Like, you know, we have people's channels that are huge and they're not doing anything of substance, but their channel is huge because YouTube promotes them for whatever reason. And so YouTube picks and chooses the channels they want to promote, okay? And that's fine. I mean, it's a business, right? So for me, you know, I squeeze it in when I can, and definitely there's probably some stuff going on in my personal life, which is why, you know, I didn't upload videos. He says, thought you got obliterated. I'm sure I did. I mean, if my portfolio is down $87,000 all time, I mean, the last year my portfolio is down over $100,000. Like, that doesn't feel good. You know what I'm saying? The good news is I know that the market's going to go back up, and I also know that if I'm in a position to grab some more shares and bring my average cost down for certain companies or certain positions that I have, that's going to be to my benefit. Even if I do it like I'm showing you guys in regards to using some of my margin investing, right? Like, you know, if Apple dropped back down to like $130, I'm definitely going to grab some shares because I know it's going to go back up. You know what I mean? Even if I grab the shares, and that's what I kind of like, right? My average cost with Apple is $144. Well, if Apple is, you know, trading for $135, obviously I can buy some shares, bring my average cost down a little bit, right? And then I can sell it, right? Using margin investing. And it's mind-boggling to me because I always kind of mention the fact that there's so many ways to skin the financial cat. And what's funny is it doesn't matter what you do if you get to the destination. You know, like, people want to get caught up and act as if, you know, in order to get to point B, you have to do it a certain way. When the reality is it doesn't matter. You know, like, there are a bunch of different ways, and it's not like there are rules like you must do it this way. It's irrelevant. If somebody's successful and they make the money and they have money, who cares how they did it, you know? And more importantly, it doesn't matter how they did it, because how they did it doesn't mean that that's the same way you should do it. And it doesn't mean that if you try what they did, you're going to get the success. So all of that stuff is kind of irrelevant unless you experience it on your own. You know what I mean? Like, I don't watch a bunch of videos on YouTube about whatever whoever's talking about in regards to the stock market. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter to me. Now, I'm not saying that it's not, you know, educational and like I can't learn anything. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it doesn't matter, because unless that's my experience, it don't matter. It doesn't matter. What's this? Tip Cam, what's going on, bro? He says, good game, good play. All right. Mysterious Stranger says, that's awesome, bro. Okay, appreciate you. Thoughts on covered call ETFs? I don't have any, because it's not something that I'm very familiar. For me personally, one of the things that I think is super interesting is because of being down, not necessarily right now, right? I'm down 87 G's right now, currently, like live, right? But when I was down $63,000, and before I kind of shift what I was doing in regards to my stock portfolio and started considering more dividend paying stocks, because I was down $63,000, I just kind of shut off all the noise. And that's the thing about when you're watching videos on YouTube and you're watching different people talk about different ways to make money in the stock market and do this and do that and do it. Like, you can get so distracted, right? It's like the internet. You pick your phone up and you're going to Google something, and you open the browser, and before you even start to search, you have things that are kind of prompted there. And so you click on one of the things that's prompted there, and you don't search what it is that you got on Google to search. You go down whatever hole that is, and you read this article, and then you're like, what did I get on Google for again? And so very much the stock market in life is very much like that. You will get distracted with a whole bunch of different things. So when it comes to things that I don't understand, like for example, options. I don't understand options, and I'm not interested in learning, because once you're traumatized, such as I was, being down $63,000, I just wanted to break even, right? So I'm just trying to kind of stay with what I know. Of course, margin investing was me stepping out a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But as far as covered calls, I don't know anything about that. Of course, there are countless videos on YouTube talking about that, just like margin investing, and not margin investing, but options trading, right? So I stay in my lane, and I try not to get distracted with a bunch of different information. It's kind of like, you know, I'm 44 now, right? So of course, I'm sure I heard about investing in the stock market 20 years ago, right? Of course, we didn't have Robinhood. It wasn't super easy, right? You probably had to have 10 G's to kind of go to a brokerage and, you know, meet somebody in person. And so the rules were different, but I didn't care about investing, and I wasn't in a position to do so. So it took years of me hearing the same information over and over and over, and me warming up to the idea to start to invest. So the same thing is true. You know, sometimes you gotta be banged over the head several times with the same idea or the same topic before you start to really pay attention. So I don't know anything about covered calls. I stay in my lane, to be honest with you. But once again, there's a lot of videos on YouTube about it. Mysterious Stranger says, I need to focus more on single company. My portfolio is too diversified and it gets harder to focus. Yeah, it's very interesting. I had a conversation, because I drive Uber. I had a conversation with a guy that I considered, you know, on the outside looking in, I thought, okay, this guy's successful. So picked him up, and he was some kind of financial guy, and he lived in a really, really nice neighborhood, and his house was probably over $1 million. And it was funny. I love talking to people like that, because I'm always like, you know, I butter them up really good. Like, oh, you seem like a person that made some good choices financially. What were some of the things that you did X, Y, Z, right? And it makes it easier for them to, you know, kind of give you some information. And what's funny is when people literally give you the answer or tell you the formula, sometimes you're kind of surprised, because it's simple. It's not complicated, right? Because once again, there's a lot of ways to skin the financial cat. And he said, believe it or not, a lot of people talk about diversification, but a lot of the people that I know that have amassed their wealth, they really had all of their eggs in one basket. And I was like, phew. And he's talking about the stock market. Now, take that however you want to take it, because people do preach diversification, diversification, diversification. I get it, whatever, okay? But once again, I mentioned earlier, there is no one way to be successful, right? Like if you were lucky enough to invest in Bitcoin and Bitcoin blew up and Bitcoin was, $40, $50, $60,000 for one coin, like, well, what do you say to that? I did it the right way. I mean, the person got their money. You know what I'm saying? They profited. That's awesome. So there's no one way. You know what I'm saying? You just live and you learn. It's very much like life in the stock market. You live and you learn. You make the adjustments, as you go along. And that's the beauty in a way, because like we're not investing to, get lucky, and buy Bitcoin low and it went up to 60 G's and you sold it and, you were one of the lucky ones, because that's really all it is, to be honest with you. And then you feel inflated and so confident, like, oh, I did that. I made such a smart decision, when the reality is, you got lucky. So I hear you in regards to saying you need to invest in single companies. I personally don't think there is a wrong way per se. Like I have huge amounts of money with ETFs, and then I have even bigger amounts of money with Apple and Tesla, right? Just because those are giant companies, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, yeah, I hear you on that. Powell, what's going on? Says 87,000 is a whole lot. Good luck. Thanks. Thank you. Of course. I'll be here crying about it and sharing my experience. Just the Tiger thing says, in terms of percentage, how much is your portfolio down? My portfolio is currently down 30-something%. I'll share my screen and show you guys. Give me a second here. Screen share. And let me open Chrome. Okay, so right here, since I started the video, my portfolio has gone up $1,900. And I'm pretty sure that's because of Tesla. Tesla had an earning report today. So I'll show you guys. So they had the earnings report after the market was closed, I think 4:30. And of course, you'll see that since then, the price has gone up. Just sharing with you guys. Look, so it's like 4:30 something, I think, is when they had the meeting, 4:30. And so since then, it was trading at 145. And it jumped all the way up to 150. Well, it jumped higher than that, right? 151, okay, which is pretty cool. So they actually beat their earnings. But let me show you where I'm at in regards to my portfolio percentage-wise. So if I click on all, you can see that currently underneath, I basically have invested 260 G's, and right now I'm down 32%. Which is $85,000. So since I started the video, it was 87. Now it's $85,000. If I click on in the last year, my portfolio is down $103,000. You can see that, $103,000 since last year. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm sitting right now. All right. Let me click back on the video here, and there's your boy. Volkrev says, is it true that you don't pay tax on dividends if you earn less than $40,000 a year? I honestly don't know. And I'm not afraid or ashamed to say that I don't know the things that I don't know, because I really don't know. Okay? Like, I don't know. I don't know, because I don't fall in that category. I make a little more than $40,000 a year, so I don't know. I'm not a tax person. And honestly, I don't even ask my tax person anything. I'm just like, do what you do. You know what I mean? Just the Tiger thing says you could be down 87,000, but if that's only like 3%, that's a whole lot different than being down like 60% at 87,000 loss. Well, of course. Powell says, be careful with dividends when you retire with Social Security. Says this man went in with like 200,000. How is 87,000 not a huge loss? Question mark. I mean, listen, it's not necessarily a huge loss if I don't sell. It's not like I'm going to sell every single one of my positions and get out of there right now, right? Because that's silly. I did that before, but at the time it was $4,399, right? Back in 2016, 2017. That would be silly for me to do now, because I know that the stock market is going to do what it has continued to do, or what it's always done, which is recover. That's what it's done since its inception. That's what the stock market does. So of course it doesn't feel good, but I'm gonna stay the course, and of course I'm making these videos so you guys will kind of be able to see that. I mean, I'm not necessarily worried about like staying consistent to show you guys like this is my real portfolio, right? I just happen to be sharing my information, and once again, if people benefit from that in a good way, sweet. You know what I'm saying? Because that's dope. It's a win for both of us. Just a Tiger Thing says the fact that he has 200,000 to lose in the first place. LOL. I don't have 200,000 to lose. I don't have 87,000 to lose. Well, I don't know about the to lose part, because once again, that's not why we invest our money, even though they tell you, oh, be able to only invest money you're willing to lose. Whatever. Okay. You got to risk big to win big. And of course, risking big doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to win big. So I get that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just dibbling and dabbling and trying to learn. Like, I had to stop myself from continuing to pour more money into the stock market. You guys are looking at my Robinhood portfolio, but I have like another $50,000 on Webull, and I don't even like want to talk about that. I don't even really share that a lot on the channel. So I have well over $300,000 invested. And the thing is, it's not a miracle. Yes, I was successful, and yes, I had opportunity that allowed me to get that type of money. But I'm smart with my finances, right? Like, yes. $300,000 is a shiznit ton of money. It's a lot of money, but like the fact that I was able to invest $300,000, it's almost irrelevant because I don't really have $300,000 if you think about it, right? If I had $1 million today, right now, right, I'm going to invest $1 million. So it's not like I have $1 million because I'm not using it. I'm using it to invest, or I'm using it if I buy real estate, or if I invested $1 million into the stock market, I'm using it now to benefit me later, right? I would be investing it in dividend paying stocks so that I can continuously be paid over time, right? Because, me at 44 right now versus me at 64, if I invested $1 million right now, 20 years from now, that $1 million is going to be paying me over $100,000 a year. And that's just genius. The fact that we have the system set up the way we do, because other countries don't have, you don't have the ability to access the stock market as easily as we do. You can download an app and start, investing in the stock market. In other countries, you can't download the app and start investing in the stock market. You got to pay, money to buy shares. You got to pay money to sell shares. Like you have to have a certain amount of money to start investing in the first place. So we have incredible platforms here, and I'm going to take advantage of it. Just the Tiger Thing says, my portfolio was up 15% year to date compared to SPX, which is up 5%. All right, well, cool, man. That's awesome. I like hearing that. Mysterious Stranger says, investing on YouTube is a jungle of information. You got to trial and error a lot. Now, this is true. I mean, that's very much like life, because once again, doesn't matter what anyone else's results are. All that matters is what you experience. And there's no way for people that's making videos or sharing information on YouTube to guarantee your success. People, like I said, we have people out here telling people, oh, it's a buy. This is a good time to buy. Okay, and then they buy, and then it goes down. And then like, what do you do? I can't be held accountable for people doing that. That's why I don't really tell people to buy per se. I mean, it's your money. You know what I'm saying? You should decide to do whatever it is you want to do. Powell says, I'm down about 10,000 on VOO, but I'm slowly recovering. Next bull run, my portfolio will be all green, but they gonna slash dividends then. Yeah, I mean, sheesh. VOO is a good ETF to invest in, obviously. So I hear you on that. That's funny. Powell says, ignorance is bliss. No, for sure. For sure. Just the Tiger Thing says, I try not to check my portfolio too often, especially since it doesn't matter anyways. This is true. This is absolutely true. I know that for me, especially earlier on, checking my portfolio, and if my portfolio is up, I'm kind of happy, and if it's down, I'm not. And so now it's a little bit different, right? Like obviously, at one point, like I shared earlier in the video, I was down over $100,000. I think it was $126,000 to be exact. And so of course that doesn't feel good, right? But, I do know that I'm confident in the companies in which I've invested, and that in time, they'll go back up past where they are right now. Just the Tiger Thing says, having all your eggs in one basket just means you're concentrated in something that is rigged in your favor. For example, VOO is a great thing just to be 100% in. Yeah, I mean, and that's a prime example, right? VOO, VTI, of course, once again, over time, you saw what has occurred. And if the stock market continued to do what it's done since the beginning, it's going to be a good ride. Powell says, got a little of JEPI too. But I pause it for a while because tax implications. Need to talk to my CPA before I continue. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Just the Tiger Thing says he prefers VTI over VOO because I'm 22 and I have an ultra long time in the horizon, and I like small mid caps companies. Listen, man. Once again, that's my thing. Is it's not like there's a right or wrong. For me personally, I think it's easier for people to, or better yet, I'll talk about myself. It's easier for me to get excited about investing in the ETF that has a bigger return in the last 5 years, right? Just because it's just way more, appealing to me. And so, if that's your thinking, in regards to investing your money, of course, sometimes you can kind of find yourself in a pickle. But as far as I'm concerned, there's too many different ways to skin the financial cat. Just the Tiger Thing is giving me some info. Says if your portfolio is down 30%, just buy some LETFs and diversify into a portfolio instead of just holding one portfolio. You essentially mimic an all-weather portfolio that's leveraged. Thus, you get more exposure for around the same risk as SPX. Powell says ARR gonna eat up your money. Yeah, I mean, listen, everybody has their opinion. I'm not even at this particular point. Do I really know what the hell I'm doing? Right? Never proclaim to be a guru. ARR is not gonna make or break my portfolio. Right? Apple and Tesla will, and I'm confident in Apple and Tesla, which is why I have the majority of my money there. ARR and investing in REITs or any kind of dividend-paying company that pays high dividends is obviously a risk, and that's why my money is my money, and people should invest their money however they want, for sure. Just the Tiger Thing says, honestly, investing is all personal. People prefer different things, different strokes for different folks. Some people get successful investing dividend stocks. Some are successful investing in more aggressive approaches. Some prefer JAPI, some DGRO. I mean, these are facts. At the end of the day, the most important thing is you stay the course, and whatever helps you stay the course is what matters most. These are facts, and that's why whenever I suggest any kind of like, oh, you might want to consider investing in this particular company, whenever I say that, I'm stating companies that have been around and companies that I feel will not go bankrupt in my lifetime. Now, I'm still not telling you take your hard-earned money and do that, but I'm giving you things to think about and things to research and things that really kind of make sense, right? Like Pepsi, Coca-Cola, right? Like Pepsi and Coca-Cola don't only sell sodas, and then they don't only do sodas in the United States. They have other products in other countries, right? And they're not going to go anywhere. Like, they're not. That's just the truth of it, to be honest with you. Powell says, I like the juicy return. Don't shrink it. Don't shrink it with too much for a JPI fund that might not be able to manage its yield in the long run. Just the Tiger Thing says, sometimes I feel like I care too much about investing. I mean, I'm only 22 and I have more money in my portfolio than some do in their 30s and 40s. I think it's a great thing. I mean, I would kill to be in your shoe, right? Um, I don't even need to start investing at that age, right? Like I'll take being in my 30s. I invested aggressively in Apple back in 2008 when the first iPhone came out, or back when Apple had like the AirPod, not the AirPod, the iPod, the iPod with the wheel, not the iPod Touch, right? But I just wasn't there. So you're doing good. I mean, I wouldn't worry about it. By the time you're my age, you should be sitting real pretty. So I think it's a good deal. Just the Tiger Thing says, if you bought Tesla at the price it was before, would you want to buy more Tesla at a significantly lower price right now? So my average cost with Tesla is $164. Okay. I had an interesting experience with Tesla. I bought Tesla back in 2020 when they had a split, and then at one point Tesla, my average cost per share versus what it was trading at was more than 100%. And then now my average cost is 164, and Tesla's trading under that. And I never sold my position on Robinhood. So it's definitely interesting. I mean, it's just one of those things. I mean, you can always connect the dots looking back on the past and looking back at things that already happened. You can't connect the dots looking forward to things that haven't occurred. It just doesn't work that way. Like, it doesn't. You can always look back over your life and say, man, I wish I had made this choice at this time, because that's how life is, right? Looking forward, it's a little bit different. You can set yourself up and try to do the right thing or make decisions going forward and hope that the dots will connect. And sometimes that does work, but not necessarily in regards to the stock market. Powell says, what makes sense is Pepsi, Coke, and McDonald's for dividends. These are facts. Volkrev says, do you drive a Tesla for Uber? I do not. I had a Tesla, the Model Y, and I ended up getting super lucky. I bought the Tesla in November of 2020, and I bought it, I live in Houston, so I bought it at $54,000, the Model Y. I was very, very lucky. And this July 2022, there were chip shortage, there was gas prices pretty high, and everybody was like, oh, I'm going to run to electric vehicles. And I sold the Tesla Model Y to Carvana, and Carvana gave me $65,000. So it made me look like I was a genius. Like, I just made such a great business decision. Like, I nailed it, when, the reality is it was like a perfect storm. So, and one of the reasons why I got rid of that car note is because I had a hard time justifying getting the Tesla, but at the same time it was like, oh, you deserve it, and I was paying $737 for my Tesla car note. So there was that. Obviously, that wasn't the most mature or smart thing to do financially, but we, in our life, I don't know of any person that hasn't splurged or wasted money on something, whether it's shoes or car or house or women, because I'm a man, so I'm gonna say women, right? So yeah, no, I just drive regular Uber, just regular Uber X. I don't drive Lux, I don't drive Black, I don't do any of that, because when I started driving Uber, which was January of 2021, Uber was really, really weird. There was not a lot of support, and I tried to drive Uber with my Tesla because I was like, okay, it's luxury, I'm gonna get more money, but they didn't even consider my Model Y as like a Uber Comfort, right, or whatever. Now, of course, it's different because we're out of the pandemic, sort of, kind of, right, and so it's different now. So I was pissed about that, because the reason why I started driving Uber in the first place is because I used that to justify purchasing the Tesla. I was like, okay, I want to get a Tesla, but I need more money, I need a different income. So it was easy for me to justify saying, I'm going to drive Uber, right? And I was telling myself the Tesla is a business purchase, right? I'll drive Uber with my Tesla. But I started with my Honda Accord because I'm smart, right? And I never drove Uber with my Tesla. I never drove one person in the Tesla because people are disgusting. You have people that come that smell like smoke, people that smell like alcohol, people that smell like people that haven't showered, and they're not necessarily homeless. They just disgusting. So I learned I'm good. I'm good. Let's see here. Volkrev says, you are very personable. I bet you get huge tips. I wish I was a woman. I would get more. I would get bigger tips. Don't let me be a cute woman either. People are rewarded for the way they look, which is, that's a whole nother conversation. But no, I do all right with tips. I don't get anything monumental and I don't get anything consistent because Uber is like that. It's a hit or miss. I'll go out on a Friday, which is normally busy, and I'll be killing it on that Friday as far as like trips, and then I don't really get that great of tips. Of course, I am very personable, and I appreciate that. I actually take pride in that. I feel like I can communicate to anybody, between poor and rich. I mean, obviously not dirt poor and not filthy rich, but I got the majority of that, right? And so I take pride in that because I think there's value in being able to communicate to any and everybody and having something in common with most people. So for me, it's easy. And I love Uber because I get to meet all kinds of people and I get to talk to all kinds of people. I have the best time driving Uber. Like it's an absolute treat, and I get to be positive and share positivity with that person if they so choose to talk to me. And if it's a younger person or anybody that I can kind of pour into or give any kind of, my 2 cents, I will absolutely do it. And so for me, it's awesome. So sometimes I do get tipped well. And to be honest with you, some of the highest tips that I got are from young people. I actually got a $30 tip from this kid that was working in a warehouse. And I was like, what? Like, I was shocked because, I was telling him that, oh, yeah, you should probably consider investing in the stock market. And, I was just kind of giving him some information that I wish people had at least planted the seed when I was his age, right? Because once again, you could hear about something and keep hearing about it and years go by and you hear about it again. And before you know it, 10 years has gone by and now you're finally like, you know what? Let me figure out what's going on with the stock market, right? After hearing about it for 10 years. So, I just try to be positive and shine my light and influence people in a positive way, you know what I'm saying, and have positive energy because we only are together for a short time. So it's easy, to be positive and share positivity, especially right now because that's how I feel in my life. I see the glass as half full and every day is a beautiful day, period. Period. That's just what it is. Lassie, I hope I said that right, says, I'm from Denmark, one of the richest countries in the world. Many people in Denmark drive Tesla, but what makes you think Hyundai or another company doesn't undercut them? The thing is, I think over time, obviously people are going to catch up to Tesla, right? Now, maybe not catch up is the right term, but definitely, the interesting thing for me personally when it comes to cars, for example, is we kind of have all the answers we need, right? Like in regards to cars, you have Toyota, you have Honda, you have Nissan, Mazda. We'll put those four. But for me, you see a lot of old Toyotas and Hondas on the road, which is in a way the answer, right? You don't necessarily see a lot of old Hyundais or Suzukis or Mitsubishi on the road, but the thing is you have all these different types of cars, and for whatever reason, people, are drawn to this because this is cheaper, this is a better deal, and blah, 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 even though, like I said, the answers are kind of in front of you, right? Like, it's in front of you in the sense that if you see a 1990-something Toyota or Honda, but you don't necessarily see a 1990 Hyundai or Suzuki, I mean, come on, if you look, it's there for you. So I think, of course, in time, they'll kind of close the gap a little bit in regards to Tesla, but Tesla definitely has a huge head start. Volkrev says, do you have a variety of jobs or income sources? I definitely have a couple of income sources. It's nothing monumental per se. I have a different channel talking about credit cards, and I got some success from that channel, and I was able to help quite a bit of people, and in return, I helped myself as well. So that really kind of helped me get access to, a nice amount of money. And instead of taking that money and running off and buying a house or splurging and do whatever, I invested a lot of that in the stock market. So it's not like I'm just, some big time person and I just make crap tons of money every year. One of the things about me that I really like is I like watching my money grow, and I don't want to say I enjoy budgeting, but because I was born in Jamaica and I had a certain experience growing up for the first 9 years before I came to Houston, it's very apparent to me that how you manage your money matters. And for me, it's a game. I like it. I love it. Um, when it comes to money, or when it comes to life, or when it comes to anything where you can take small steps to get to the destination, if you think about it, right, people say don't sweat the small stuff, but the details and the success are in the small things. The small things inevitably become the big things. The small things add up to the big things, right? If I put $100 away every single month, after 10 months, that's $1,000. Now, as small as putting $100 away is, right? You add time to that consistency of putting $100 away, and it becomes a big sum of money. So the small thing is the big thing, right? Literally. Like, same thing regarding your education. Let's say you got to be in college and you got to be there 4 years or 5 years or 7 years or whatever, right? The every day of college and every week adds up to you getting your degree. I mean, you can't get the degree without the everydays, without the small step. I'll take it another step further. In regards to health, like when I'm huge and out of control, I can't get to a better place health-wise or a smaller weight without making the necessary decisions daily, right? Now, of course, you're not perfect, right? You're not going to nail every single day. Same thing with college. You don't nail every single day. You make bad grades, you make good grades, but at the end, you get the degree. Same thing with health, right? I make good choices, I make bad choices. I go to the gym, or I'll eat cookies or ice cream or whatever. So the small thing is the big thing. We always focus on we focus on, the end, right? But we don't focus on what am I doing right now in this moment that's going to allow me to get to that point. I like to walk because walking adds up. Walking is just comprised of steps, right? When I take enough steps, I'm going to do 14 miles. I'm going to do 12 miles. I'm going to do 8 miles. I'm going to do 16 miles. So, yeah, I mean, I like that type of stuff. I mean, I definitely, I'm a nerd in that way. Paul says, I know a guy that takes his dividends and buy lottery tickets. He reinvests only if he wins something. That's funny. Listen, man, like I said, there's not a wrong way to get to be successful, and I mean, in this day and age, people are, achieving success a whole bunch of different ways, and unconventional ways as well, or unconventional. Volkrev says, do you lift weights because you look kind of ripped? Nah, bro, I don't lift no damn weights, man. Don't tell me that. No, I don't lift any weights. That's actually something that I wish I knew more about. When I lifted weights in the past, it makes me really, really hungry, and I just eat a whole bunch because, nutrition is very important, but I don't have that part of dieting figured out. I understand it, but I don't have it figured out enough to, make my body the way that a lot of these people make their body with their diet and the workout. Your boy don't lift any weights, period. I just can't. I want to, but I just go ham. I eat like crazy because I guess you gotta feed the muscles, or you gotta feed the weightlifting. Just the Tiger Thing says, yeah, education is important. I'm currently about to get my real estate license at the end of May, and hopefully soon I'll be able to turn investing in myself to investing in real estate. First of all, that's awesome, and congratulations to you. I mean, being so young, like I said, by the time you're my age, you're going to be doing it real big. Wouldn't it be a treat that we both stick around and 10, 15 years from now, I'm still on this channel, I'm still doing videos, and you still check in, you'll randomly jump into a video or into the comment section, and you're hella successful. And me too. I'm also hella successful, and my portfolio is valued at $500,000. Wouldn't that be some stuff? That's awesome, man. Thank you for sharing that. Volkarev says your portfolio is projected to make you a millionaire within this decade, and I did an analysis. For me, that's kind of where my head is. And the crazy thing is, having a lot of money is an interesting thing because I can remember I had like $80,000 in the bank, right? And how I look at money now is different, right? Um, you have all the opportunities in the world, especially if you live in the United States, to accumulate a lot of money. Okay, it's a matter of how aggressive you are, how hungry you are, how much you want it, right? You live in the best country when it comes to money and being able to make money. There's so many easy ways to make money here. And I get it. Oh, I'm not comfortable. Whatever. That means you're not serious, right? So yeah, I remember having like 83,000 or $80,000 in the bank, and I was like, yo, like this is cool, but I need to do something with this money. So it's interesting, you know what I mean? Like if I had $1 million today or $2 million today, that money would be working for me. I wouldn't be out splurging buying stuff, right? I wouldn't have this big mansion. The money would be working for me in regards to the stock market, right? And, you know, it would be great to create generational wealth. It's funny, that's not something that I've ever been passionate about or thought about, but it's definitely on my radar now. So, yeah, we'll see. We will see. Volkarev says the VGT ETF you have is a banger. I would stack up more shares on VGT. No, yeah, I definitely have like 20-something thousand dollars invested with VGT. You know, that's why, like I said, I'm not insanely worried about ARR. What happens with ARR, right? Like Apple, you know, Tesla, the ETFs that I have, VGT, VUG. I have a lot of money invested with them, and you know, fingers crossed type of thing, right? So yeah, I mean, for me, I've pumped so much money into the stock market that once again, I'm like, okay, you need to sit still because, you know, like I was buying up so many shares. And so people, you know, like there's so many different ways, right? Like I spent, you know, $10,000 buying shares with, you know, VGT, right? Versus spending $1,000 every month. And it's not like spending $10,000 is wrong, especially if I had spent $10,000 and the cost was here and it went up. That ain't wrong, right? Or I could have just spent 1,000 this month, 1,000 that month, if the price is going down. But if I was spending 1,000 every month and the price is going up, my average cost is going up. So, I mean, there's different ways to do it for sure, to say the least. Listen, guys, it's been an absolute blast. I see we have 7 people in the live stream right now. Smash the thumbs up, please, in this video. More importantly, if you have any questions, slap them into the chat. I'd like the opportunity to answer your question. Definitely not a guru, just the average person sharing their experience in regards to the stock market. But if you have any questions, slap them into the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to get up on out of here. I might be doing another live stream for my other channel, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, if you have any questions, I'm going to stick around for the next minute or so and see if I can answer your question. I've been doing this live stream for the last hour and 18 minutes. And I appreciate all you guys and the conversations we've had. You know, I'm not afraid or ashamed to admit what I don't know. I'm not a guru, nowhere close. Once again, just the average guy sharing my investment journey with you guys. My portfolio is not perfect. And you know, one of the things that I think is super interesting is, once again, there's so many ways to make money in the stock market. So many ways, you know. And as far as I'm concerned, whatever works for you is what you should do. Period. Period. I'm not here to tell people what to do and how to do it or what I'm doing and you should do it like me, because, you know, there's too many ways to get to the same destination. The destination is, you know, financial freedom or generational wealth. There's a lot of ways that you can get there. You know, what I will say is the small things are the big things. The small things are equal and congruent to the big things. Period. Period. You know what I mean? And if you have goals for yourself financially, you know, just be super duper aggressive in regards to how you're trying to get extra money. You know what I'm saying? You got to really ask yourself how bad you want something and how much, you know, you're willing to do to get that thing. All right, that's going to be it for this video. I appreciate you guys so much. Once again, my name is Dwayne with My Investment Journey. If you're not subscribed, be sure to subscribe. All right, I approve this video. I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, take care and be blessed. Peace.